A new poll from the nonprofit No Kid Hungry New York found that 53% of New Yorkers are in higher debt due to the rising cost of food. The poll also found that 62% of New Yorkers are against federal cuts to food assistance programs that are essential, like SNAP, WIC, and summer lunch programs. Joining us now to discuss the findings, Rachel Sabella, director of No Kid Hungry New York. Rachel, good to have you with us. How are you?
Thanks for having me this morning, Chris.
Hey, good. So let's talk about the rising cost of food. It impacts everybody, but we're going to talk specifically about New York City households here. Compared to other parts of the state, how is this taking effect?
This is the third year that No Kid Hungry has undertaken this poll, and what we've found is deeply disturbing. It's also the clearest snapshot that we have about how New Yorkers are being hit hard by rising food costs. Half of New Yorkers told us that they are having to go into debt in order to purchase food for their families. We heard from them that this is not just impacting financial health, but physical and mental health. A majority of New Yorkers surveyed also told us how hard this is hitting them because they're purchasing less nutritious food, they're stressed about it, so it's having a real detrimental effect on their physical and mental health as well.
See, now the poll also found that food insecurity disproportionately affects Hispanic families. So what are some of the unique challenges that those Hispanic families are facing, and how can that part be addressed?
Hispanic families are facing similar challenges as other families across the state, with rising costs, with incomes not keeping up with the cost of grocery prices, but they are being hit so much harder. 73% of Hispanic families that responded to the survey told us that they are going into debt, as opposed to 63% of non-Hispanic. Half of Hispanic families also said they're eating less nutritious food. That's why we need to protect those programs like school meals, like SNAP, in a bipartisan way, so those families, the most hardest hit, can have the support that they need.
I don't think a lot of people realize just how essential SNAP programs, summer assistance programs are for a lot of families in this country. How can more funding for food assistance benefits help families looking to maintain, as you mentioned, a healthy diet? Because you can get cheap food out there, but that's not obviously the best way to feed people and keep people nourished. So, factoring in the fact that people do need financial assistance, but they also need access to healthy food.
One of the things that we heard from families is that when they go to the grocery store, they're having to make choices. They're not able to purchase the same proteins, the same meats, the same fish, or the same fruits and vegetables. So they're going with that filler food, that pasta, that rice. And as the costs are going higher, they're purchasing even less. We heard from families who said to us they are hiding food in the closet so that they know they have enough at the end of the month for their children. We had caretakers tell us that they are cutting their portions of those proteins, of that nutritious food, in order to make sure the children in their households have regular access to nutritious meals. We need to make change.
Can I ask you what ways your organization is working to help families that are struggling, and what's your funding like? I'm sure, obviously everybody is under the microscope right now, but tell me about, your organization and what you're able to do.
For more than 40 years, No Kid Hungry has worked to connect kids and families with meals as we work to end child hunger and poverty. We are working to protect and strengthen programs like free school meals, like SNAP, like WIC, like summer EBT. We also want to make sure families know about these programs, that there's awareness, that in languages that they can understand, that they're getting information from messengers they trust. We work with school districts and community organizations to make sure they're utilizing these programs appropriately. And the biggest thing we're able to do, and we thank you for having us today, is to draw awareness to this problem. New Yorkers are opposed to cuts, and we need New Yorkers to continue to stand up so that every child and family has regular access to nutritious meals.
All right, Rachel, well said. Thank you. Rachel Sabella, director of No Kid Hungry New York. We thank you for taking a few moments for us.
Thank you.
And for more stories on rising food costs, visit cbsnewyork.com.